Hello there, watching L24 Midnight News streaming live from the capital Algiers, and to the headlines. President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, officially inaugurated on Thursday in Algiers the new stadium of Baraki, named after the South African leader, Nelson Mandela. In his capacity as Special Envoy of President of the Republic, Foreign Minister Mr. Ramtana Mamra received Wednesday in Brazzaville by President of the Republic of Congo, Denis Sassou. In Burkina Faso, 9 people were killed when suspect militants attacked a mosque in northeastern the country. Documents with classified markings were found at his home days after it was disclosed that sensitive documents were also found at the office of his former Washington Institute. President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, proceeded on Thursday here in Algiers to the official inauguration of the new Baraki Stadium, which bears the name of South Africa leader, the late Nelson Mandela. Mohamed Khatou tackled the story in this report.
The inauguration of the stadium was held in the presence of several government officials, sports personalities, in addition to Nelson Mandela's grandson. The President of the Republic highlighted on the occasion the Mediterranean, Arab and African dimensions of Algeria.
الجزائر دخلت في مرحلة اليوم متاع تثبيت الانتماء. انتمائنا المتوسطي أثبتناه وبجدارة في ألعاب البحر الأبيض المتوسط في وهران ونجحت، وهكذا جزء من الشخصية نتاعنا اللي هي متوسطية ثبتت.
President Tebboune also emphasized on the occasion the recent organization by Algeria of the 31st edition of the Arab Summit, which was crowned by a tremendous success and which reflected Algeria's belonging to the Arab nation.
نفس الشيء بالنسبة للقمة العربية. عائلتنا عائلة العربية احنا ننتمي لها، كانت نفس الشيء قمة والحمد لله ناجحة وثبتت الانتماء نتاعنا للأمة العربية.
Algeria has completed several sports facilities and stadiums that meet international standards, such as the new Nelson Mandela Stadium in Algiers. President Tebboune stressed that these sports facilities affirm Algeria's African identity.
اليوم بهذا الصرح وبهذا الرمز نثبت هويتنا الإفريقية. بين قوسين فقط، مانديلا يعتبر نفسه جزائري وقالها هو بنفسه. ما دامنا دخلنا في إثبات الهوية الإفريقية، ما نوجدوش رمز اللي يمثل الجزائر ويمثل جنوب إفريقيا، إذن إفريقيا كلها مثل نيلسون مانديلا.
Chan 2022 is yet another evidence of the many achievements made and the many challenges lifted by the new Algeria that the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has promised to build.
In the same line of thought, and few hours from now, the 7th edition of the African Nation Championship will kick off from here, from the capital Algiers. The edition of the competition is expected to be the best in the history of the tournament, after Algeria provided all necessary means for this aim. Nabil Khazini.
Algeria is ready. Africa is ready. The 7th edition of Chan 2023 will be exceptional, with a flavor of major sporting events given by the host Algeria that offered generously all the necessary means and furnished every corner to welcome Africa. It is the first time that 18 national teams will compete for this African tournament. 4 high-quality stadiums, 2 of which are new, and 2 others have been completely renovated for the competition to take place in the very best possible conditions. Algiers, Oran, Constantine and Annaba, 4 Algerian cities, each with its distinctive charm and unique landscapes, will be during the Chan 2023 playhouses for this footballistic event.
We are in one of the greatest football nations on the African continent. That makes us very, very proud. We are in Algeria, proud football nation, proud football history.
Only a few hours and the eyes will be directed to this masterpiece, Nelson Mandela Stadium, that will be the theater of the opening ceremony, expected to show the world the Algerian and the African cultures alike. The tickets for the big launch, estimated to be at 33,000, were sold out 72 hours after they were released on an electronic platform.
To a different matter now, Algerian Foreign Minister Mr. Ramtan Al-Mamra participating in Brazzaville, Republic of the Congo, in the ministerial meeting of the African Union Committee of 10 on reform of the UN Security Council. In his intervention, Al-Mamra assured that President Abdelmajid Tebboune is committed to working with his African brothers, the leaders of the member states of the committee, to maintain this momentum and continue efforts in order to achieve tangible progress in governmental negotiations in order to reform the Security Council and achieve more representative, fair, and balanced international order. On the other hand, the head of the Algerian diplomacy welcomed the offer made by the chairman and members of the committee to hold the next ministerial meeting of the Committee of the 10 in Algeria, an event that is expected to coincide with Algeria's accession as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Still with the Algerian Foreign Minister, Mr. Ramtan Al-Mamra was received in Brazil, the capital of Republic of the Congo, by President Denis Sassou, where he handed him a written message from Algerian President Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune. Minister Al-Mamra, on behalf of the Algerian President, renewed the expression of Algeria's support for the efforts made by the Congolese President at the head of the African Union High-Level Commission to make the reconciliation process in Libya a success. Al-Mamra also held bilateral talks with his Congolese partnership, which focus on preparation for the upcoming bilateral competitions and consultations and coordination on the upcoming dates on the continent and internationally.
A great experience in international actions and African mediation. He chaired twice our continental organization. From this perspective, he has certainly a lot to bring to our continent. And we hope that as part of the next summit, it will be a great opportunity for Africa to project itself in the future, and President Denis Sassou Nguesso and his brother President Abdelmajid Tebboune could lead and offer Africa a great part of this optimal mobilization that we need amid the threatening and demanding international context of today and tomorrow.
Still in Africa, the president of the Guinea-Bissau and current chairman of Economic Community of West African States, Omaro Sissoko Mbalo, affirmed that ECOWAS does not seek punishment and coercion, but rather endeavors to stand by all countries in transition within the group after meeting this Burkina Faso counterpart, Brahim Traoré, in the capital, Ouagadougou. Omaro Sissoko added that the group is ready to stand by Burkina Faso in its war against terrorism.
Mais on sait le problème quand on dit le djihadisme.
We appreciate the size of problems when we speak about terrorism. It affects all the regions of West Africa. It's a big source of concern for ECOWAS. Today, after exchanging several points of view, I've understood many things that happen in Burkina Faso. We will see in the near future how we can support Burkina Faso in what it needs.
9 people were killed on Wednesday evening in an attack against a mosque in northeastern Burkina Faso. According to a witness, the attackers arrived shortly before 6 p.m. in the village of Gologonto in the Sahel region on 8 motorcycles. Bordering Niger, the commune of Falagonto, which is home to the large gold mine, has been facing several incursions by suspected attackers since the beginning of the week. According to local sources, many residents have fled the village since the tragedy to other localities deemed safer. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has held in-depth discussion with France's Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs Catherine Colonna and Annalena Baerbock, Germany's Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs, in Addis Ababa. Both foreign ministers stressed that they wanted to strengthen their partnership between the African Union and Europe. Also on the agenda was the subject of rising food prices being worsened by the conflict in Ukraine and the climate crisis.
This is a new chapter. This is time to settle our internal crisis and focus on our development and transformation. It is time to our partners to support this country while managing emerging economy, demanding society with different challenges and problems.
Still in the African continent, its first meeting in 5 months, Libyan Joint Military Committee 5+5 resumed its meeting in the presence of the UN envoy Abdullah Batili to discuss the extent of implementation of what was agreed upon in its recent meetings. In light to the failure to hold of comprehensive national elections, the 5+5 military committee will meet in the city of Sirte starting from Sunday and over the course of 2 days, according to what was revealed by the Libyan media, to confirm the ceasefire decision signed in Geneva in October 2020. Now, in the Middle East, the Palestinian Health Ministry said that the occupation forces killed 3 Palestinians in separate incidents in the occupied West Bank on Thursday. The occupation authorities increasing violence in the West Bank this year following the 2022 being the deadliest since UN record began in 2005. Still in Palestine, the Zionist occupation forces killed a Palestinian young man in the occupied northern West Bank on Wednesday, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, the armed wing of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas' Fatah Party, said in a statement that Ahmed Abu Junaid was one of the combatants. The 20 years old Ahmed Abu Junaid succumbed to his wounds after he was hit in the head by the Zionist bullets in the morning in the Palestinian refugee camp of Balata in Nablus. Striking Jordanian trucker Suleiman Abu Azaid spent several long nights on a national highway along his native city of Ma'in, manning a picket line that created havoc to overland trade. The month-long sit-in caused Jordan tens of millions of dollars in losses when it paralyzed unloading at the Red Sea port at Arabia, according to officials and industrialists. The stoppage petered out late last year after a security clampdown to stop disentangled Bedouin youth from desert hamlet near Ma'in throwing stones at tourist couches on trailer. Opening a new fire in Europe now, the dispute over Solidar, eastern Ukraine, intensifies as both Russia and Ukraine keep trying to control the city. Hussein Burkan on What's For.
Fighting in Donbass intensifies. The battles for control of the town of Solidar are the bloodiest since the beginning of the war, according to the Ukrainian presidency. Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister said that Ukrainian forces are struggling to retain control of Solidar, the town in the eastern Ukrainian Donetsk region, despite difficult situation.
The fiercest fighting continues today in the area of Solidar Bakhmut region. Despite a difficult situation, Ukrainian soldiers are fighting tirelessly the enemy and successfully trying to break through our defending and seizing Solidar suffers heavy casualties.
In turn, Russia's defense ministry said its offensive in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region was continuing successfully. In its daily briefing, the defense ministry affirmed that 70 Ukrainian personnel had been killed.
On the Donetsk axis, successful offensive by Russian forces have continued. As a result of air and artillery strikes, the irretrievable losses of the enemy reached up to 70 Ukrainian personnel, 1 tank, 3 armored fighting vehicles, and 4 cars.
Solidar has become the center of fighting amid Russian ambitions to capture the nearby strategic city of Bakhmut. Seizing Solidar, a point in the Donetsk region that the Russians have been trying to control for months, would be Moscow's most substantial gain since the last August, after a series of sensitive withdrawals in the second half of 2022.
Moving on to North America, Attorney General of the United States appoints special guidance to investigate Biden over handling of classified documents. The discoveries have presented legal and political headaches for Biden as he prepares for an expected 2024 re-election campaign in the upcoming months.
Attorney General Merrick Garland has appointed a special counsel to investigate the presence of documents with classified markings found at President Joe Biden's home in Wilmington, Delaware, and at an office in Washington. Those discoveries have presented legal and political headaches for Biden as he prepares for an expected 2024 re-election campaign in the upcoming months.
I'm here today to announce the appointment of Robert Hur as a special counsel, pursuant to Department of Justice regulations governing such matters.
Earlier on Thursday, President Joe Biden acknowledged the documents and declared that the Department of Justice was immediately notified after the documents were located, and that department lawyers took custody of the records.
My lawyers reviewed other places where documents from my time as vice president were stored, and they finished the review last night. They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library.
Recently elected Republican Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives Kevin McCarthy said that Congress should investigate revelations that President Joe Biden kept classified documents at his private residence.
It could go from that committee or others, but I think Congress has to investigate this. Here's an individual that's been in office for more than 40 years. Here's an individual that sat on 60 Minutes that was so concerned about President Trump's documents locked in behind, and now we find it just as a vice president, keeping it for years out in the open in different locations.
McCarthy told reporters that the discoveries demonstrated the Biden administration's hypocrisy with regards to similar revelations about former President Donald Trump.
Another faux pas by the Biden administration, but treating law differently based upon your political beliefs. Treats one President Trump one way, but treats President Biden a whole different way.
Republicans believe the incident shows that Biden has committed the same transgression as the former president and argue that the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago and subsequent investigation were politically motivated point scoring. But Democrats insist the two incidents are different legally, while acknowledging that they present a political problem for Biden that allows Republicans to go on the offensive.
Still in the United States, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said on Wednesday that he seriously doubted that ramped-up Chinese military activities near the Taiwan Strait were a sign of an imminent invasion of the island by Beijing. Austin also called on China to keep lines of communication open, saying that dialogue is enormously important.
So we've seen increased activity aerial activity in the Straits. We've seen increased surface vessel activity around Taiwan. And again, we believe that they endeavor to establish a new normal, but whether or not that means that an invasion is imminent, I seriously doubt.
U.S. consumer prices unexpectedly fell for the first time in more than 2 years in December amid declining prices for gasoline and other goods, suggesting that inflation was now on a sustained downward turn. The consumer price index dipped 0.1% last month after gaining 0.1% in November. The Labor Department said that we still have work to do, US President Joe Biden said during his speech on the economy and inflation.
Today we've got some good news. Good news about the economy. For the 6th month in a row, inflation has come down. Measured over the last 12 months, it has fallen 6.5 to 6.5%. That's down from 7.1% the month before. It's down from 9.1% this summer. Inflation is now at its lowest level since October of 2021. And we still have more work to do, though. But we're clearly moving in the right direction. And there's more breathing room in store for American workers and families.
UK has been hit by a wave of strikes ever since summer of 2022, as inflation stayed high and insufficient pay of nurses, teachers, rail workers and many others failing to make ends meet. Ambulance workers went on strike again Wednesday. The strikes include ambulance, paramedics and all centre workers. Most ambulance services in England and Wales have been affected, with people only able to access emergency services in serious, life-threatening situations. To Brazil now, where President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva said that he plans to have policies ready within 100 days to counter runs at normal speed. Lula's first days in office were challenging after violent protests teared through Brasilia this weekend. He also commented on the attack, saying that what happened was a huge warning. Another wave of violent protests spurred by removal of ex-President Pedro Castillo led to clashes between protesters and police in the Peruvian city of Cusco Wednesday. As they made their way to Alejandro Velasco International Airport, riot police clashed with members of Civil Construction Union and residents of other provinces. Stone-throwing demonstrators were captured on camera as police used tear gas to evacuate the area. The Andean nation hasn't had such a severe outbreak of violence in more than 20 years, since the sudden removal of former President Castillo in early December, which have resulted in the death of 40 people.
We started in the province, our land, but we barely get our voices heard from here. Now all the people from provinces have come to the capital city of Cusco, and we see how the police treat us.
Why do they want to come to the airport? They can protest in Cusco. Do they want to immolate porno? Do we want bloodstains? Are we going to keep throwing stones? Stones and more stones. I have been here. Nobody told me. I have been here. I have a blow in my leg.
Ladies and gentlemen, we reached the end of our news bulletin. Thank you ever so much for being with us. For more updates, you can follow our social media platform. And for now, all I can say, good night.